Last May, Pierre T.F. Riggs High School announced Brianna Kusler as their varsity boys basketball head coach. Of course, there were questions. The two glaring ones: how would a female be received as a boys basketball head coach? And two, how would a 23-year-old head coach be received? This was uncharted territory. Even Kusler admits there was some reluctance.
I was a little bit hesitant just because I didn't know the response of coming in as a female. I think naturally people's question would be the respect level and everything, and I've never once had any issues with kids not respecting me.
Kusler said one of her first practices helped resolve any tension that might start building.
I think we were doing a rebounding drill, and circle rebounding is what it was, and I think I was just chucking shots up from probably 30 feet out. I think I was trying to miss, and I made them, which is concerning. But and you could see the boys; they're like, "Oh, she can shoot," and it's like, "Oh my goodness! If that's all it took, I would have never been hesitant to."
She grew up in Aberdeen and starred in both volleyball and basketball at Central High School.
We spent most nights always in a gym, whether it be, I remember even just growing up going to my parents playing City League basketball or volleyball, and then of course watching my cousins play at both Aberdeen Central and then at Northern as well. So I really grew up in a gym and fell in love with sports in general.
Not only did she come from an extremely athletic family, she spent time with two of the best coaches in South Dakota history. She played basketball for South Dakota coaching legend Dawn Seiler, who won 629 games in high school, the all-time winningest girls coach in the state. As a senior with the Golden Eagles, she led the team in scoring and helped Aberdeen Central to their first ever girls state basketball title in 2016. After high school, she decided to play basketball for Kurt Fredrickson, who won 846 college games, the all-time winningest coach at Northern State. Kusler was a standout for the Wolves on her way to several all-conference awards. It was during her time in college when the coaching bug started to take hold. She spent her summers coaching both volleyball and basketball club sports for 3 years.
It brought a unique perspective for me to be able to still play the game and see it from probably more of a coach's mind.
Her coaching mentors each influenced the way she's taken on her own coaching career.
I've been exposed to some phenomenal coaches that have had a lot of success. Coach Seiler, she has a way of holding you accountable, but still loving you at the same time. And she really, truly gets the most out of all of the athletes that she has. And I think that if that's one thing that I can take away and I can be half of what she was, I will be successful. I think a lot of it comes down to the relationships and the accountability. And sometimes it's not something that you maybe see while you're playing, but I know the same thing applies to Coach Fred, that I could call him up any day and he would drop everything and do it whatever I needed.
She landed her first high school coaching job in an unconventional way.
Originally, I actually came over and interviewed for the head girls position here. Then they offered me the sophomore job, and at first I kind of thought they were maybe joking a little bit. But after a few conversations, and I finally decided that was something that I wanted to pursue.
She coached the sophomore boys last year and impressed several people along the way as she learned how to be a head coach.
Just takes a little bit of time to develop certain things. Those athletes certainly taught me a lot more than I taught them last year, and it's something that I'll be forever grateful for.
After a taste of coaching at the high school level, she was hooked.
All of a sudden, Coach Becker resigned, and I didn't know if it was something that I was ready to pursue. And then it didn't take long for me to decide that, yes, okay, I'm ready to throw my name in the hat and see what happens.
Now she's over halfway through her first varsity season as head coach, and she continues to add to her skills in coaching, but she's developed a pretty sound philosophy already from a mixture of personal experience and her legendary mentors.
My philosophy has been and always will be that less is more. 2 points is 2 points, 3 points is 3 points. A layup is the same amount as a dunk is. But at the end of the day, I think that offensive, defensive philosophies really don't alter much for me as far as coaching girls versus boys.
She doesn't want to be known as a female coaching a male sport, but she knows that she, in fact, is a role model.
I think that, or I hope that it will open doors for plenty of other women down the road to feel confident in their abilities and administrations to feel confident in their abilities as well, because the goal is the same. Becky Hammond had a quote that a pick and roll in the men's game is a pick and roll in the women's game, and there's nothing more true than that. It's really basketball is basketball. So I don't think it matters who's playing it, and I don't think it matters who's coaching it.
She's ready to normalize the fact that she's a woman coaching boys.
No longer needs to be a story about me being the first female head coach. I'm excited just to be able to give the attention the athletes deserve.
And she's ready to get past that lack of experience question because she's too young.
I was hired when I was 23 and now I'm 24, so we can just be done with that talk now.
That was a whole different age.
When you turn 20, I've heard you just know everything at age 24, so.
I'm not sure I know anything more now than I did at 24, so.
Yeah, she's a remarkably mature 24-year-old, and she commands the team far greater than her years right now.
How's the season going so far?
Can't complain. They won 7 games last year, and they had a really young team this year, so expectations were pretty low. She's already won 6 games, almost matched last year's total, and still has about a third of the season left. If you asked her, there's some games that she thinks they should have won, but there's some talent on this team, and she had help last year because she got to coach the sophomores, and a lot of the sophomores are now juniors, so she's really familiar with some of these players, even though it's her first year.
And they've reached a point now in her first year where she doesn't want it to be an issue at all anymore, right?
Yeah, she is looking forward to being done with all the firsts and not having this be a story anymore and just being a AA coach in boys basketball in South Dakota.
All right, good for her. Appreciate it. Jason Andera.
This has been Midco Sports Magazine, presented by Build Your Base with Beef Sports Nutrition and Training Program.